Okay. Okay. Since we are putting this on video, let me introduce myself. I am Ali Imran. I'm from the General Desk of Bernama. Since our reason having you here today is for us to be able to understand what you are trying to bring for the people of Kelana Jaya, since you are contesting for the parliamentary seat, and it's not an easy fight.
Yes.
Because you're fighting against two giants
Right.
in the same time. And also we'd like to hear from you what you have to hear, and maybe we can start with a very light topic, like can you just introduce yourself?
Yeah. First of all, I'd like to say thank you very much to Bernama. Within such a short notice that I'm able to get this interview. I'm the independent candidate for Kelana Jaya. My name is To Sin Wah. I'm age 54, married, and I'm thankful to God that I'm having a very happy family. Okay. It is because of my 33 years of experience that I have in the corporate world that I felt that now at the age of 54 is opportune time for me to return back to society and to provide my services, and whatever that I've learned, I would like to impart back to society on the basis that since I'm not a philanthropist, I would like to be able to also contribute to leave a legacy behind, and that is to say that I would like to contribute in terms of this. So I told myself there is no better way than to become a parliamentarian, whereby I can actually be able to be one of the parties to be able to help introduce good reforms for the country, which is all for the benefit of the rakyat. My mission is to menyatukan rakyat, and rather than membelah, that is being promoted and which is actually happening between the two component parties. I have a bigger mission, and that is to say that I talk about a one world, one dream. Is it? Okay. And this is the Olympic theme which I adopted on the basis that since the Olympic itself were already having this theme to say that it's a one world, one dream community through sports, then I told myself it was so ideal for me to introduce this one dream, one world, one dream through politics, is it? Okay. And that's how I took this step, and that is to say that in this 13th general election, I offered to provide my services to the country. And I chose Kelana Jaya is because I felt that the residents of Kelana Jaya are affluent, they are knowledgeable, and they are fearless. Okay. So I'm saying on the basis of this, why? Because when I analyze from the results of the last general election, Loh Guoben just was holding a camera, and he won the election. Okay. So on that basis, I felt that that's how I start using the term that the Kelana Jaya residents were so fearless, okay. And because of their affluence maybe and their knowledge that they have, so I think they also won a good representative in Parliament. So on that ground, I took the step to say, since the contestants in Kelana Jaya are all new except Loh Seng Kok, who happens to be the former MP, I think so, for Kelana Jaya. So when I saw PKR was fielding incumbent, I won't say incumbent, a new guy, okay. And that was Wong Chen. But he was 6 months, I think if I'm not mistaken, I read that he was 6 months with a registered member of PKR, okay. And all because I think he wrote the constitution for Pakatan Rakyat, okay. And so he became one of the contestants. So you see, my intention is that very clear. I'm also for Ubah, change, but I'm going on the basis that here that whatever they are doing is that, well, they may be saying they want to go for Ubah, but then you see, but recently, if I read clearly from the newspaper, that even when they wanted to carry an advertisement, okay. In the Star paper, there was a big issue. They raised the issue saying that Star, maybe they were pro Barisan Nasional, so they are trying to say that they are not allowing them for the advertisement space. Okay. But in fact, actually, Star Online came out to refute, saying that it is not that. It's because the ad that they wanted to carry is trying to incite some hatred. Because they were wanting to carry the picture of Ibrahim Ali, like I think if I'm not mistaken, holding the crease or kissing the crease actually. Okay. So what Star wanted to do was, Star wanted to go back to them and say, look, if you want to have that scene, provided it must be actual and factual.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and not something that you
Made up.
You
Okay.
see, on that was the reason that Star Online came out to actually refute what I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was the MP Tony Pua was raising in the press.
Okay.
So on that basis, and then at the same time, Star was saying that why the advertisement you don't want to carry the DAP logo.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's your advertisement that you want to put up, and that advertisement you want to carry such a character. Why are you not willing to carry the logo of DAP?
Okay.
So that was the only reason that Star Online said that why they have not said they're refusing the ad. They want an explanation first before they will consider putting up the ad. Is it?
Okay.
So they only need two things. One is they want DAP to put up the logo, and two, they wanted the if I'm not mistaken, they wanted the logo to be put up in the ad. Since you are advertising, you should carry your logo there. And two, they wanted that it to be a factual. It's a real scene that he actually did that
Okay.
wherever it is. So being a responsible paper, they're trying to say it's a people's paper, the paper that cares, they say. So maybe that was the reason why they insist. So when I read this yesterday, I immediately posted on my Facebook and said, look, you say you want to go for Uber. But if you really want to go for Uber, it must be not a Uber to champion just your cause, but it is a Uber for the rakyat. What the rakyat really wishes.
Okay.
I don't want the rakyat to be blinded, you know, that
Just to follow.
they just follow. It's just like a brand, Uber, and everybody go for it. But
Okay.
but what is the real Uber? What are they carrying the wishes of the rakyat? Is it? You know, the rakyat may want the change, but the rakyat wants unity, and I'm here to promote that.
Okay.
If you read my book and you read what I've been writing, I'm talking about more than just doing it for the country. I'm talking about doing it for the world. But first of all, I want to achieve it by doing it for the country first.
Okay.
And that is, we must have a truly one Malaysia community.
Okay.
Okay.
So we understand that the very basic reason is to give back to society, and of course, what are you offering? What's your manifesto for the
You
people
see,
of
like,
Kelana Jaya?
yeah, you see, on the very first day when I went for the nomination itself, I felt that it was already victory for me, because it was something that I've been harboring that I wanted to do ever since I was a child, at the age of 12. I was already talking about the borderless world, about internet, without actually knowing how to coin the word internet. So when I found out later, 32 years later, that internet existed and it was just trying to break down the barriers, I realized that what I was talking about when I was 12 years old, 32 years ago, it is materializing.
Okay.
It is happening. So I then told myself that it was opportune time for me right now. With the power of the internet, I can reach out to the masses.
Okay.
Okay? So it's on that ground that I decided then I should go in. And I felt that on the day of the nomination, it was already a victory when I got myself nominated. It was so tough, I'm telling you. People who was around me, who was discussing about politics all these years with me, they told me one thing. Told, the minute you join politics, we are there to be with you. But when I actually asked for a proposal and a seconder, everybody was having fear. Everybody was feeling that it was something that, it was like, if they were to come forward, something is going to happen to them.
Okay.
Then I realized that, oh my God,
It is not that easy.
it is not that easy. These people who are talking about it are not real. They want change. They say they want that. But when it comes to really, that you tell them to step forward and join you for the common cause and a good cause, everybody who are knowledgeable says, I want for money. I want for something. So I then begin to be able, in the last few days, if I was able to have a ceramah before the BN and before the Pakatan crowd, I will just have to tell them this. You say you want change. You say you want freedom. But then, you sold your freedom.
Okay.
You sold your freedom. And you lease your freedom maybe. And you've given up your freedom because you allow people to buy with money.
Okay.
That's what happened. So if you have sold it, why bother to ask back for it? Why? When it's just like, no, you have pawned something away, and then you want to redeem it, and you then now fight to ask back for it, you know.
Okay.
So if they are really serious about it, then let's unite. Because why, at the rate things are happening between the two parties, they say that this is going to be the dirtiest ever election to be held.
Do you think so?
Well, looking at the way things are happening, well, on my side, as somebody who have been in, I have said it when on the nomination day, just before walking into the hall, I met the UMNO candidates, and I actually shook hands with them, and I told them, I'm here for a celebration. We are so fortunate in Malaysia that we hope that it will happen in the next 5 years, that we have a chance every 5 years to come together to celebrate, to thank the outgoing MPs who have done service to the country, and to welcome the new MPs. That should be the way how Malaysia should carry out the election. You see, so that's why I'm offering a very new brand of election. But you see, in school we learn, and we always go for election in our student union, in our career guidance, in whatever social extracurricular activities ours in all the society. How do we go about with the election? We actually also get a proposer and a seconder. And after this is being done, we actually face all the voters, and we just have to go and do our best to tell them that how good a leader we are. But after it is being done, then what happened? Everybody votes. When they have voted, whoever becomes the leader, we close rank. Whoever that is chosen, we then close rank and say we support him, or we support her for that matter. That's what we do. So based on that, there will be peace and harmony. But right now, at the rate that our seniors, our elderly statesmen who are promoting the sort of election that we are having, it is a very bad reflection for the youths of the future to follow. Because you look at the youths, they are actually looking at both these so-called respected leaders from both the divide. The way they are going about, whether it is real or factual, or it is actually insinuations and all those, at the rate that it is being staged with all the money involved, you can imagine what will be the students of the future, who are supposed to be our leaders of the future. How would they take election? So much so that you see, even in the universities right now, where elections are to be held, you look, sometimes it also leads to the factionalism, it also leads to that sort of rivalry, where it is no longer a friendly election anymore.
Just now you said you were in. So prior being an independent candidate, was you somehow associated by any political party?
That's why the beautiful part on my side here is that I'm not a member of any of the political divide. You know, I've actually expressed interest with certain parties where I wanted to stand, because I'm just trying to conform with the present system of government. Setting up the government, and that is, you have to join a political party in order that you get a better chance of winning and then going to parliament. So I actually have made, I would say, not a very, it's a serious approach, except that I've written. They have asked me to write to them, I've written, but because they say that because I'm a non-member, so you have to start from the lower, you have to start from the branch level, you have to start as a member. I told myself, I'm the age of 54. If I feel that I'm ready right now to contribute, I cannot start as a member.
Because go through the cycle.
Because there's a lot of politicking to do, and within them, as you can see, there is so much of problem within the two parties that even the selection of the candidate became an issue. Until today, well, there are so many of dropouts, where they call them rejects, whatever you call them. As a result, they are standing as independent. That's what I was told. And that's why when Syed Hamidi came out to tell the public as a responsible statement, I will call him as a very irresponsible statement, because why? He came out to say that, asking the Rakyat to reject all the independent candidates. So on the day of the nomination, after I was nominated, I actually in my Facebook, I posted, and I told both my worthy opponent, that is Wong Chen and Loh Seng Kok, to actually come and join me, to actually renounce, for that matter, to actually ask Zahid Hamidi to withdraw such an uncalled for statement. Because why? I then said that, you check my background, I'm a creditable citizen, where I have 33 years of impeccable corporate services experience that I have, that I want to impart back. So I told myself, for him to say that it was very uncalled for, and it was a direct insult to my candidacy.
Okay.
Okay.
So you want to be the representative for the people in Kelana Jaya.
Yeah.
What do you think, in your point of view, the real issues that the people they're facing right now?
Okay, the real issues that is being facing by everyone right now is that we are all been hearing in the news, we've been always following. Now this has been pushed to great extreme, and that we are talking that we would like to have a clean, transparent government who can actually bring development, true development, and can actually bring benefits to the society, okay, irrespective of which community we belong to. That's why initially it was my intention all along to stand at Putrajaya. My reason of standing in Putrajaya was because I thought that the election is going to be conducted within a week. So if election is going to be conducted within a week, I don't see how I could reach out to 101,000 voters in Kelana Jaya. Kelana Jaya was my latest decision. Okay. My earlier decision was the urban state was only Putrajaya, okay, and it was the administrative capital. So in a way, if I were to be able to win that seat, it would have drawn a lot of attention on the basis that Malaysians have actually matured, and they are now using their knowledge and maturity to be able to bring in a non-Malay candidate for that matter, and to be their representative as an MP of Putrajaya. And I told myself, because initially when I read the last report, there were 8,000 over voters. So I told myself, if within a week,
Putrajaya is okay.
Why? Because why? If I were to reach 1,000 voters a day, at least within the week, I can cover at least 90%. Okay. So at least whether they want to vote me by then, I leave it to, I respect the decision of the voters. At least you have touched them. Yes, I've touched them, and they can get to know me, what I'm fighting for. Okay. So it's on that ground I decided Putrajaya. But because of the distance, and also too because I was told that most of the residents down there are Kelantanese. And because they are civil servants. Okay. And civil servants, in a way that they are always being given the impression, we have been given the impression somehow they are pro-government. Or for that matter, there may be instruction given out to them. Because why? When I actually asked, I actually sourced and went out all on my way to find out whether I can get a proposal and a seconder from there. From Putrajaya? From Putrajaya. I have done it. I've done it in the past, just few months before election time. But the residents down there were all saying this. We like to, but you know, we have certain benefits and all those. We are afraid of losing the benefits. So it's with due respect of that, I have decided that since I said you are having such difficulty, and because your priority comes above nation, I respect you all. Okay. So then I decided that since Husnam Ali was the deputy president, Husnam is it? Husnam Ali.
You're talking about the past candidate?
Yeah, the deputy president of
Musa.
Musa, is it? He was standing there. So since I thought myself, since I heard that 90% to 95% of the civil servants down there are mostly Kelantanese, so he seems to be the ideal candidate down there. So I told myself, if I was already prepared on the basis that I wanted to lose, I mean, I was prepared, it's not that I want to lose, on the basis that I was prepared to lose my deposit, why don't give it a fight? Why don't give it a fight? Even though I was so confident that if I'm given the opportunity to stand in Putrajaya, if I'm able to address all the voters in Putrajaya, I told myself, if I want to be a national leader, if I want to be recognized by the people, and I told myself, I want to stand tall to say that I am a national leader, I must be able to win the support and confidence of the majority race.
So what brings you to Kelana Jaya?
So it was after when I told myself that, well, the people there I was assessing that they may not be ready. And because of the distance, I told myself if I have to canvass, it will take me a long time to go over there. Then I decided, no.
You're staying in Kelana Jaya?
I think if I'm not mistaken, I'm a voter. Because the last election, I voted in Kelana Jaya. Okay. So if there is no change to my what I call the allocation of where I'm supposed to vote, if the election commission have not changed that, then I think I'm still a voter in Kelana Jaya.
So currently, where are you staying?
I'm staying in Shah Alam.
Oh, so Shah Alam to Putrajaya.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was on the ground that I felt that Putrajaya was a little bit distance away from me, and at the same time, because the development was just 2 days before the election nomination, I heard the news that they are fielding a new candidate, and Loh Guaben is to be already taken out from the list. and he is already not going to be re-nominated to stand. So then I told myself, he just carried the camera. And because of the Lingam case, he won the election just like that. And he was able to beat a formidable candidate from MCA, and that was Li Huabing. All right? Okay. So on that ground, I told myself, these people in Kelana Jaya are ready. And they are ready to support, and they are willing to host a very good candidate who can speak on behalf of the Rakyat. Then I told myself, since I think that I'm ready, and I think I can represent the Malaysians, so I told myself, look, why don't I offer? And then after all, if at all, the most I can lose is the same deposit anyway. So then I decided then I should choose Kelana Jaya.
So basically you are...
Because I didn't want to contest against the well-known what called opposition candidate. Yeah, huge names. Those known names like people like you know, like both the divides. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and people like Asmin Ali, people like all those famous names of who, let's say from both divides. You know. So I told myself, if they are already a very national hero, where people already have great followings and they have been a good fighter. So I don't want to take on them. Why? Because I will also want to respect them. So that's why in my book, I've actually saluted some of the people, and I didn't look at any race in particular. I actually saluted whom from my reading. That's why in my book, at the end of it, I have my views, my recommendations, and my comments. So then whatever articles that I've read, and I feel that they are good articles that Malaysians should know, I have included it in my little book, which I call Towards Realizing My Vision.
Okay, so comparing yourself to other party-based candidates, you are not offering anything physical, for example, like the construction of a new hall or new road or things like that.
But actually, I have a lot of plans already on my head, and my idealism and my theory all works actually. All I got to do is, well, you are the first interviewer willing to allow me to, let's say, express all those areas. But if it can be, I will go ahead and let you know. It's not that I just came in like an opportunist. I actually have no vision of how to run the country. I have, because like to me, the most important is that we are talking that if there is still poverty, the first thing is to eradicate. When I say eradicate, I'm talking about a total eradication irrespective of any race. And it is the duty of the government of the day. If they call themselves, it's the people's government, then it's their duty to make sure that they actually teach the people how to fish. So that these people will then be so independent that they will not need to ask for the fish forever. And as a result, they will blame the government of the day for everything that is not right. And that's where they will then talk about Uba, for not a real Uba.
So you want to eradicate poverty?
Yeah, that's one.
What else?
Yeah, you see,
maybe you can share one or two other big ones.
I'll give you a very good example. You see, most important, I felt that what is happening to the country is that the people are not educated to the extent that they are having a mind of their own. You see, when we talk about political parties, you look at the members, everybody is wanting to be leaning on each other. Because of the need to be leaning on each other, that's why then you have what we call pakatan, what we call as an alliance. All right. So what I'm trying to say that these people, I term them, well, I may not be right, but what I'm trying to say that because of the fondness, the necessity to wanting to lean on each other before they can have a one voice. All right. Then to me, I don't term them as leaders. But the real leaders are the one who is leading them. But if the leaders themselves are not passionate, if the leaders themselves are having mischief, then all these people who are leaning on it will tend to be leaning on the wrong party. So as a result, we may not bring about unity. But in my case, I told myself, when I stand, I told myself, I believe that I can lead. I believe I do not need to lean. That's the result why I took this step as to go forward. Even though I was advised by all these political parties and all those people who are so-called fighting for democracy, they have actually said to me, "To, you are a single person. There's nothing much you can do." But if you hear from what I say today, you know that if I want to introduce this election I'm talking about, everybody, if they open up their eyes, there is no need to lean in order to be able. to succeed. Because you see, if you look at Parliament, what do we want Parliament to be comprising of? We want 222 lawmakers. We want wise people to be in Parliament.
And you believe you are one of?
Yes. See, because I feel that I have enough experience to contribute. Likewise, I hope the Malaysian public would sit back and tell themselves, look, what do you want? You actually want 222 capable Malaysian lawmakers, what I would call talented Malaysian lawmakers, just like we have talented singers, talented Malaysian idol. You see, so if we can organize such a contest, why can't we do a similar contest of getting Malaysian lawmakers who come forward based on their experience from wherever they are, whether they are engineers, doctors, lawyers, you know, individuals, civilians, NGO leaders and all. But all these people will not take part. You know why? Because they all keep saying the same thing. Because I've actually, when I see these people putting forward so good ideas, I told myself, why they prefer to just write and not come in? When actually with all the ideas that we are talking about, they are the good leaders of the future. That's why I've actually commended some of them. But they choose not to take part. Why? Because they say they don't want to be involved because they are already doing well. Two, they say that politics is dirty. So I always challenge the people by saying that if you think that politics is already dirty and you don't want to change to make it clean, then why bother to complain? Why bother then to stand up to say that you want to bersihkan? You see? That's how I say it now. Because why? If we don't do something about it and we keep bringing in leaders into Parliament who are all out of, let's say, wanting to serve their personal intention, then you see, we ask for it. Because we never put our foot forward. We never step forward to say, look, it's time we make our presence felt. It's time that we tell ourselves that we don't want to be led by leaders who are actually not up to that level and standard.
So let's have a situation here. Say you won the election and you are in the Parliament in a session where they are very situation where your vote will decide everything. How do you foresee yourself?
You see, it's very simple. All I got to do is I must know my stuff. I must be able to articulate to both sides at this very moment because I am just a single vote. But what I'm trying to say here is I listen. My political masters are the affluent, knowledgeable, and fearless constituent voters of Kelana Jaya. If tomorrow I'm lucky enough to actually win, to become their MPs, they are my political master. On the basis that I will have to heed the voice and wishes of the Kelana Jaya resident. But in the case of both my worthy opponent, both Loh Sin Kok and Wong Chen, their political masters are their party. So assuming, let's say, if Barisan were to win or Pakatan were to win tomorrow, all their top popular and so well-known leaders are going to be in the cabinet. So if they are going to be in the cabinet already and leaving all the balance of the younger ones, the less experienced ones, the new ones and all those, that since Barisan is national is fielding a lot of new candidates and even Pakatan is fielding a lot of new candidates which are maybe in the age range of between, let's say, 30 to 40.
Under 40.
Okay, under 40s for that.
Around 30%.
Yeah. See, what I'm trying to say that now these are going to be the remaining politicians, parliamentarians that will be in the legislation that's in Parliament. Do you think that with all the well-known leaders in cabinet, do you think that if they were to pass anything, assuming that one day they also collude like just what is happening right now, assuming just a theoretical case, do you think the rest of the member of Parliament are going to stand up and say, no, we will not follow our leaders? When after all they said you have to toe party lines. Because you see, from the last election, with all the results that was out, now who other parliamentarians have actually really voiced anything other than the leaders? So I will speak and I solemnly declare that I will
remain your loyal, reliable, and trusted people's representative to check effectively, without fear or favor, the new ruling coalition government promises of a clean, transparent, and fair society. So, meaning to say that I will then have to articulate, and I will then have to say, without fear or favor, my reason for supporting and my reason for opposing. Because to me, Parliament should not be a place for people to have infighting just because I'm a pembangkang, so I must oppose, even though it is good laws.
Okay.
It's not meant for that. It's supposed to be a gathering of all the experienced people to put in their wisdom so that we will have good laws for the sake of uniting the Malaysians. That's all it's supposed to be. So it is supposed to be a gathering of 222 the wisest men in Parliament to help bring about development, to help bring about unity, to help bring about happiness, so that the people will go on with their day life without end. When I talk about the government of the day, I'm talking about a government that can actually... You see, the government to me is actually like a father to the children. It's just like home. You are the head, assuming you are the father. Whatever money you have, based on the amount of kids you have in the family, then it's up to you to apportion. Likewise, the government. But from the revenues that we have, is for you to apportion into which sector is of priority. If you are doing that and you explain to the citizens, if you explain to the citizens that this is an amount of money, revenue that we have, so we have to give priority to which sector that is in need of, and we apportion it that way, and we are supposed to carry out a balanced budget.
Okay.
That's how we should finance our so that we don't run into national debts of what? Now they're talking about more than 500 billion.
Yes.
We're talking about 750 billion right now, and that is known debts. Then the other pledges that we have, they're talking about now. Well, these are all statistics that we can actually obtain from Bank Negara and from all the relevant sources. We are talking about 1.75 trillion. So assuming if that's the case, we are talking about running into a national debt that one day we will be equivalent to like all those European countries right now.
Yeah.
So is that what we want? Why are we spending more than what we can afford? Why are we fooling the rakyat to say that no, we are that rich that we need to spend for development? We are hoodwinked. No, it's just like we are just living in a very unrealistic world. You know, we want to achieve Vision 2020, a developed country, but yet we are not there yet, you know. But yet we want to bulldoze it to say that we are there. So I think this is a very unrealistic sort of situation. So to me, if you ask me that if I can rule, if I can form the next government with the 79 other independent candidates for that matter, we can become the kingmaker. And we reach out to the Sabahans, the Sarawakians, I think we can form a minority government. If we all win. And that is if the rakyat understands that we as the independent are actually the wakil rakyat of the country. You know why? Because this is our own money, my own hard-earned money that I've taken out to put in as a deposit to stand. But in the case of the other candidates from both the political divide, they are actually your money. They are actually your money, and yet they term us as a spoiler, as a reject, which I really I beg to differ.
Okay. So who are currently helping you out? You know, putting up posters, you know, on your campaigns. Yeah.
If you look from this book that I prepared, and if I got a chance through Bernama actually to put up and circulate this, which I've done it on my Facebook, but because I'm not popular, so nobody gets to my Facebook. But if I can let you all know, please just type my name, To Sinwa. I have something posted on YouTube. I was very lucky and very thankful to Star for giving me an interview, for the university students of Lim Kok Wing. They call Fly Times. You can actually go into their site, which is already posted, and there was a live interview. I mean, there was an interview that was done, which was more than an hour. They also asked similar questions like you, but maybe not as detailed and as what you are asking. But well, it's fantastic. I'm having a range of questions where I'm able to address different issues this evening. So what I'm trying to, and I had an opportunity to, together with the independent candidate, which is an assemblyman, I'm the MP candidate, he's an assembly candidate from this Damansara Utama, and we both was being featured in this BFM 89.9 interview that was done a couple of days back. I only asked the Malaysian, and I only asked if, in particular, the Kelana Jaya residents, just do me one favor. Before you decide to vote, before you decide to tell yourself, I don't care, I'm going to be a diehard, which I think is very silly and unnecessary. Just go to my YouTube and just go and maybe understand what I'm saying. I had a maiden speech there, which I did it with my help of my wife, and it is 14 over minutes, and you see what I've said. And this is my maiden speech.
So your YouTube channel is your
just
in your name?
Yeah, in my name. Just go to my name. I have already have this all posted, and it's because of the power of the internet that I'm thinking about. But because it is not known, I don't have the chance to reach out to the masses. I was in the street yesterday. I was just at the entrance of Subang Jaya from the Federal Highway. I told myself I'm just a lone ranger. So I told myself I carried this postcard of mine, play cards of mine I call it. I imagine that this would be my most effective way to tell the major part of the constituent of Kelana Jaya, which comprises Subang Jaya. I heard 60,000 of the voters are there out of the 100,000. I just carried that postcard right up high so that when the traffic was flowing in back at a snail pace because of the traffic jam, at least I would have captured the attention that there is an independent candidate. And I keep pointing to them, please go to my YouTube, that's all. I don't want them to decide that they should support me, but at least they can actually go and listen. Give me a chance to understand that who will be the better representative. Because to me, the resident voters of Kelana Jaya will be my political master. What they say, what they wish, I have to hear. And I am the only candidate who have spoken to so many constituent members down there when in my tough time of going around. I just enjoyed every moment I was with them. And I can tell you, there were so many diehards I met with, and they all at the end said this to me. I can tell you, I was so confident that if from that sampling that I have with meeting these constituents, that I think I've met something like almost 3,000 to 4,000 so far. From all these members, that whether they are diehards or not diehards, people who have thrown very harsh questions with me and all, I addressed them. And I told them, you see, I'm standing before you all one-to-one, and your one vote, because I think it's so important for my cause, I'm spending this difficult moment while all your other candidates have mass gathering of charamas, which has been organized by them with your money. And I'm here standing here trying to convince your one vote when I know it's so difficult. And yet, at the end of the session with all these people, I have so many of them who just told me this. I got one very good one that I can just quote, and I can tell you it really touches me. You know what did the Malay guys, I mean, this is a Malay gentleman. They were actually good UMNO supporters. He just said it. Jika, he said, if my grandson is of voting age, I can confirm with you right now that the vote is yours. When I heard that, I told that gentleman, I'm so touched after this. And I say that when I take the next step and I walk towards moving to another source that I'm hoping to get the vote, I am inspired
by that.
I've gained more confidence to tell myself that I have not made a mistake by offering my services to the nation. It may be a very tough course ahead of me, but I told myself from that sampling that I have, if I can reach out and if I can get the services of the media and all, that I claim that this is a borderless society, if you can help me to spread the news to all the constituent members of Kelana Jaya, I'm sure, I'm very confident that I will win this election without doubt. Because I've actually issued an open invitation in this book on the very day of the nomination, that I say that I wanted to invite both Wong Chen
Okay.
and Loh Sin Kok for an open debate.
Okay.
And actually what happened was, I understand Wong Chen has issued an open debate with Loh Sin Kok, but he had not invited me. Because, and then I understand Loh Sin Kok turned down. So I then frantically was looking for his able man, his right-hand man for that matter, and I called because while in the process of me meeting up with the nomination officers, we actually had, they have wakil, while I don't have, I went personally.
Okay.
So I had a chance to meet up with the wakil of both the opponents in the round of going to decide where to have the warung at the polling booth and all. So in the course of that, the nomination officer was just telling me that, look, I mean, before I moved to that, he was saying, I managed to meet his right-hand man, so-called the closest to Wong Chen. I even called, they gave me the number, so I called immediately. And I actually immediately extended my invitation. I said, since he has invited Loh Sin Kok and Loh Sin Kok has turned down, why don't give me this opportunity to debate with him? Until now, I got no reply. So I decided then after that to tweet. And I do not know how to tweet because I'm 54 years old. So I asked my colleague to help me to tweet. And we went into his Twitter account. And what we did,
you are on Twitter too?
Yeah. But I'm not good. I wish I know how to use. I think I'll be able to tweet very good messages.
So you are more effective on Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah. So what happened was, I told my staff to help me, and that was a tweet to him that, why not we come together for a friendly debate? We discuss on all issues. Until now, I got no reply. So what I did was, yesterday again, when he got his supporters who always come to my Facebook and comment, so I told them, I said, look, well, in the interest that you all are having, I said, I want to reconfirm, and I'm still very interested. Maybe you can persuade our friend, my worthy opponent, to come. And I'm prepared to go for
a debate.
Debate. So that the Kelana Jaya resident can then decide who will be the best candidate to represent them. All right. I actually had the opportunity to attend the PJ Selatan's candidates. They were having a forum. Oh, I went to the church. It was called Glad Tidings. It was hosted by the pastors and the church members. They invited all the independent candidates for Bukit Kasing, and they invited the MP for also that area, PJ Selatan, which comprises Bukit Kasing as one of the dune, dune seats, because there are a few dune seats under this PJ Selatan. So what happened was Barisan National candidate was the only one who turned up for the MP, while the rest of the candidates, they were having 4, I think so, DAP, Barisan National, and 2 more independents. They were all there to present their case. I just went because my friend told me that maybe you can get a chance to actually ask questions from the floor. So I went, but they didn't open to the floor. But if they have opened the question to the floor, I would have said this. You look, these are all aspiring candidates. They are actually, they have done some work, and they are so eager to actually put forward good reforms. Given that opportunity, I will ask the crowd to say, look, don't you think so they all deserve to be parliamentarians? Instead, we have to choose one out of the many there. But you look, these are the top of candidates we want to be in parliament because they are aspiring.
Because they are ready for that culture.
Yeah, but I tell myself, they have not reached that sort of level of experience that they have. They are put in because the party wants to promote them, right? So I'm going on the basis of that. I told myself, look, they are all good candidates. So I'm just trying to tell the public, look, they are independents. So I want to ask the floor, do you think they are rejects? Do you think they are not worthy as an opponent? Do you think they are not worthy to carry the message on your behalf? If you think they are, then can we all come together and say, look, they are the real Wakil Rakyat. That's all. Then a very good thing is, you see, I was told that just before the election, just before the nomination day, Barisan National have already spent 73 million on press ads. So we are talking about right now about people coming up with a lot of money and money politics. Now, at the end of the whole election, these sponsors, so-called sponsors, what will happen to the victor? They will have to reward the sponsors. What will happen to the loser? The sponsors will run away.
Okay.
Assuming that is the situation, all right, the victor will want to finish off the loser.
Okay.
So what will happen? The people become more divided.
Okay.
So to me, this form of election is not as good as what I'm trying to propose, an open system. When I say an open system, I want Malaysians to stand tall. I want them to say, look, if we are ready to become parliamentarians and we can offer our services, but because we know politics is dirty, we are afraid to come forward, we rather back from behind.
Okay.
I told myself, then this is not a good cause. Because why not? We then have not actually got the real talented lawmakers to be in parliament. And that is what the nation needs. That we have actually got maybe second-hand or second-rated. I mean, with due respect, I'm saying that we are not actually having the real good leaders in. You see, if the private sectors are said to be so successful, that our economy is doing so well, why aren't all these corporate leaders that they are talking about doing philanthropist work, good work, charity work, and all those? Why aren't we tapping their ability to say that, well, you are so experienced, why can't you offer these services to the nation by just being a parliamentarian? Because it's just like we want to choose judges. People felt that if you can become a judiciary member, you are held in high esteem. Just like you become a lawyer, you are held in high esteem. So likewise, we must promote to the Malaysian students, especially right now. That's why it's a subject that if I am an education minister, I will tell myself that if we talk about wanting to have a better future, we must start promoting good leaders now. And the good leaders must come from the base, and that is the youth. The youth of tomorrow are going to be the leaders of the future. If you do not give them the right education and the maturity mind of their own, that they can stand independent on their own, then don't hope that we will have this in the future. Because we spend so much money to go and bring back talents. But why are we not? That's why I ask the NGOs and I ask all these people, you all want to talk about wanting leaders, then why don't walk the talk? Why don't you come forward?
Bring yourself.
And bring yourself in and say, look, we want to clean. We want to clean our parliament, that we want leaders of good example to stand up for the nation. So that when you come together, we are not there to menjadi pembangkang and penyokong. But we want to say, look, whichever camp we belong to, we actually can. You see, a very good example, both the parties were having difficulty in submitting their candidates. I would have proposed that, irrespective of how many candidates, put them all together. All come and join in and have a fun to have the election, to join in for the election. And then let the rakyat all vote. The best 222 candidates with the most number of votes goes to parliament. Then we don't have to deprive those aspiring leaders so much so that they have no choice to come out and to stand as independent.
You also have to catch.
Yeah, but anyway.
But okay, maybe some last few words to the people of Kelana Jaya.
Yeah. This is my humble request. That is, if you are looking forward towards change, I'm for it. But if you are also at the same time looking forward towards a better Malaysia, what I would term as a truly one Malaysia community, I just wish to reach out to the Kelana Jaya. I consider them as they are fluent, knowledgeable, and fearless, that I salute to. And I would like to ask them to extend this support to me so that they can be the proud host to me, to be the leading voice in Parliament to raise issues on behalf of the rakyat. You are my political master. I will have nothing to fear or favor to raise every issue that the citizen of the country is facing. I wish that if you talk about freedom, please do not give away and then you ask back. Freedom is actually with you. but it's left for you to decide right now to maintain the freedom in your hand. And that is my most humble request. Please do not vote for me for the sake of what I'm saying right now, but you decide on the basis that you go to my YouTube, see what I have in my maiden speech that I have spoken. All these are my own hard work. It's all written by myself, and I'm the only candidate, I think, in the whole of Malaysia as an independent that is asking for a fair share of my voice, where I want to be heard, and I want the people of Kelana Jaya and Malaysia to actually consider very seriously that this is the way we should run the election. We should have an election whereby if we say it is free and fair, then all the participants of the candidates, all the participants, the eligible candidate, should all be made known to the rakyat, so that you have the right to question and to understand what all these candidates are standing for. Okay. And then from there, you decide who will be the best 222 candidates that you think is eligible to be elected into parliament, to help come together, not to divide and fight, but to form and to be able to come up with good reforms for the country for the sake of the Malaysian community. Because it only quickens my mission, as I said to you, that if that can happen, and if we can have a truly one Malaysia community, then we can be the proud host for ASEAN, the regional groupings, and the United Nations ultimately, that we can help to unite the world under the one dream, one world, one dream community. And if that happens, then we are actually having a better world. Because as I've said, we come to the world with nothing. We will also leave the world with nothing. We are only here for a short mission, and we are actually having a noble cause to fulfill. So I would like to speak on behalf of the Malaysians, that if I've heard so much from you all, that is your wishes, please give me this opportunity for once. Because I've said, if I fail to carry out my duty, which I solemnly declared here, I will only say to you daringly that I will, if you can get the constituent members, that means majority of the constituent of Kelana Jaya, to actually petition for my vaccination, I will not cross over to any of the party. I will step down and make way for a by-election. A vote for me is a vote for Malaysian. I solemnly promise.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. I think
I'm rushing back.
Yeah, and you also have another mission there. So you